I used to think I was being overly cautious, one of those people who always double-checks the locks, who crosses the street if someone behind me gives off weird vibes. My friends teased me about it, calling me paranoid. But one night, that so-called paranoia probably saved my life. It was late, maybe close to midnight, and I'd stayed late at work finishing a project. The buses had stopped running, so I walked home. I cut through a few quieter streets, the kind lined with closed shops and the occasional flickering street lamp. Halfway down, I noticed footsteps echoing behind me. At first, I brushed it off. People walk at night all the time. But the steps matched my pace, steady and deliberate. That's when my chest tightened. I remembered reading threads on Reddit about trusting your gut, about how ignoring red flags could turn regret into tragedy. My instincts screamed at me to do something. So instead of heading straight home, I turned and walked into the nearest open store, a tiny corner market with just one cashier stacking shelves. I grabbed a soda I didn't even want and hung around the counter, pretending to browse my phone. The footsteps grew louder, then stopped right outside the glass door. When I glanced up, a man in a dark hoodie stood there, staring straight at me. He didn't come in, didn't leave, just stood there. My stomach dropped. The cashier noticed too. He frowned and asked quietly, "Do you know him?" I shook my head, trying not to look as shaken as I felt. For the next minute, the guy loitered outside, peering in, pretending to check his phone but never actually moving on. Finally, he pushed the door open. The little bell above the door jingled, but instead of shopping, he leaned against the counter, way too close. He smelled of cigarettes and cheap cologne. His eyes darted from me to the cashier and back again. "Why'd you come in here?" he muttered. Not loud, but sharp enough that my whole body froze. I stammered, "Just grabbing something." He smirked. "Seemed like you were in a hurry." That's when my fight-or-flight instincts went into overdrive. My heart hammered, but I forced my voice steady and said, "Yeah, I texted my roommate. He's a cop. He's on his way." Total bluff. I didn't even have a roommate, much less one in law enforcement. But I said it loud enough for the cashier to hear, hoping he'd play along. The man's eyes narrowed. For a moment, I thought he'd call me out. Then, without another word, he clicked his tongue and walked back out the door. He didn't look rushed, but I could feel the tension leave the room like a balloon deflating. The second he left, my knees nearly gave out. The cashier offered me a chair behind the counter, and I sat there shaking like I'd just run a marathon. He handed me a bottle of water and said, "You should really call the cops now." So I did. This time for real. I gave them his description: scruffy beard, dark hoodie, tall, smelled like cigarettes, and explained what happened. They told me I'd done the right thing. That bluffing probably saved me from something worse. When I finally walked home, every shadow made me jump. I double-checked the locks 3 times that night. For days, I replayed his smirk, the way he blocked the door, the chill in his voice. But I also remembered the cashier stepping up, the quick thinking that came out of pure desperation, and how powerful it felt to take control, even when I was terrified. That night changed how I listened to my gut. Now, if something feels off, I don't ignore it. I don't worry about being rude or paranoid. I'd rather look dramatic than end up a headline. People might think it was just luck. But I know the truth. My bluff was the thin line between me walking away shaken, or maybe not walking away at all.